What's up, YouTube? Welcome to More Trades. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're all doing well, having a good day. The trading week begun. We might see some interesting live price action the next few days. We have some important stuff going on, some important news. So let's see how it plays out. I don't usually trade the news, but sometimes the news causes people to react before the news or after the news. So it's useful to know what environment you're in and what are the possibilities, or what direction, what is the sentiment in the market. Now, in a few days on Wednesday, we're gonna have the Fed. The Fed is gonna announce its next Fed rate, I believe, and that's going to be a big market mover, possibly, because if the Fed pauses or increases the interest rate by 25 basis points, then there is a high possibility that the markets will go bananas and rally. Let's see what we have on Wednesday. I believe there's quite a few things. The rest of the week is not very it's not very news driven. But for tomorrow, we have existing home sales. The day after, which would be Wednesday, we have the FOMC economic projection, FOMC statement, Fed funds rate, FOMC press conference. So it's going to be a crazy day. If you're following the news, then you know that some days the news really does big moves. Sometimes opposite to what the market sentiment is. So Fed Powell comes and increases 20 basis points. People are expecting the markets to rally, and the opposite may happen. But it's all a game of probabilities. We never know what exactly can happen. Now, as you see the title, the thumbnail says, you can see the thumbnail, you can see it mentions Peru, Russian bank, and what else? Russian Central Bank, El Salvador, the Super Bowl. I just wanted to mark them out. I marked out two of those events because I saw they were significant, and you could see them on the daily chart. Now, if we go back and we take a look over here, this was when El Salvador announced adoption of crypto, or started adopting crypto, on 6th of September 2021. Everyone expected a crazy pump. We got that small move to the upside, and we came down about 25% in 21 days. So for 3 weeks we were coming down, we came up and came down. And if we go to the Super Bowl that had a lot of ads of crypto, and it was called the Crypto Ball, look what happened. Good news came. We moved up 7%. Yeah, about 7%. Let me get it exact. We moved up about 7 to 8%. That move up was there, almost 8%, and then we dropped. We dropped 22%. So yeah, you need to be careful when trading the news, even if it's good news. So now the news says that the banks are going down. We have First Republic Bank, that other banks came and tried to bail it out, given that the Fed or the FDIC needs to back the deposits, ensure the depositors' money. But that sounds good. Other people may take it as the Feds are bailing out, and it may lead to quantitative easing. However, that's not what's being implied here. I understand it as the Feds are coming out to help the banks, because that can lead to further affect the economy. The issue with that is you start printing money, as the Fed has been printing money now to support these banks, bail them out. Billions and billions of dollars have been printed, and that leads for the dollar to lose value. And dollar lose value, that means it's inflating. inflation is happening. The Fed is in between two evils: either help the banks and pause and print money and cause the inflation to go higher, or hike the interest rates by more than 25 basis points and cause more pain for the banks, which may lead to affecting the banks and the people who have money in the banks, that is the citizens, the people in America. So it's a difficult situation. I mean, let's see, it will be interesting what they decide. Now, looking at this range that I have over here, so I just wanted to point out those two events. There was another event when the Russian bank increased interest rate hikes by 20%, but I didn't see much of an effect or an immediate effect. But these events usually affect the market. So let's see. Now, what are we looking at? Bitcoin. We are at the CME gap. Let's go to the CME chart. That should be interesting. Who do we have in the stream? Anybody watching the stream, say hi. Now, we are trying to fill this CME gap, as you see over here. Let's mark it out. We had it from 27, around the 27,430 to, let's go here. And if you look at the CME chart, could we say, where's the gap ending? On the CME chart, it looks like we've filled that gap. I mean, if you're gonna count this wick, but it looks like we filled it to the T. Look at that. Sheesh, look at that. This is a daily candle. Look how we did it. This was the 20th today. Wick down, wick up, and we filled it on the CME. That's very crazy, but we have a small gap here to 27,160, and we have another gap here at 20k that could take us down to 20k. But I mean, the last time we had the gap at 20k, we came down over here, and we had a gap that took us down all the way to 20k. We wicked all the way to the opening of the candle, so there is still a possibility that we go slightly higher to the close of this red candle, which is just, let's see how far is that, 28,915. How far are we from there? Bitcoin can do that in a single candle, I believe. 28,915, that's less than 1%. So I mean, we're less than 1% away from filling that gap. Let me try to pull an indicator here and see if I could see what I like to see. VRVP, VPVR, I mean, they changed the name, but let's see if we can see. Price of Bitcoin. Okay. I mean, I can see that we have a gap over here. I mean, there's not much volume over here. Let's go on the weekly chart. This is on the weekly. Our next zone to find resistance is up here at the CME gap fill. Once we fill it, the full CME gap, then we'll be hitting this volume node. Look at that. Can I adjust the settings of this and make it more defined? I mean, thinner bars. I guess not. Anyways, so as you can see, even if we pump, if we are to break this zone, the 30k zone, then we have, as you can see, this would be an insufficiency. We'll find some resistance, but it's not a big volume node that could take us all the way to 37.8. That's very bullish. Now, let's try and add something else. Another indicator. This is how you do it. You need to find confluences and see what's happening in the chart to know what's your next zone. Now we have a naked point of control. That's a point of control that hasn't been tapped, and as you can see, we're very close to it and hitting that point of control. Excuse me, I'm a bit under the weather. We might 28,745. That will just be the bottom of the wick of this CME gap. we might hit that naked point of control, and usually, or a lot of times when we hit the point of control, we might find rejection or we find a release. So we might release or find a rejection. It's not very helpful, but essentially you're looking for a reaction. That's what I'm telling you. The next gap we would have is at around 34 to 30. If you go all the way to the candle close, 35 or 36k. So those zones are zones to be aware of. Now this is on the high time frame, but we have a lot of NPOCs to the downside. If we come down, Bitcoin starts breaking down, then we have one volume node over here at around the 23,715 and another one at 21,500. But we don't have to come that low. Essentially, Bitcoin can come down and hold this high, 24,850, or round it up, say 25k, and still be in a bullish move. But you need to know that Bitcoin could come down. It is a possibility. Another thing that is so much of concern, I mean, you need to be careful about, is that at the moment on the daily time frame, if you pull out the Bollinger Bands, you can see Bitcoin is way overextended. Now let's go to the regular chart. As you'd see, it pierced the Bollinger Band differently than the CME chart. We go to the regular chart over here, and you can see it was 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. It's different than the CME chart, and this is overextension to the upside. Now if you go to assets like let's go to the Nasdaq and look at the Nasdaq. What happens when the Nasdaq starts piercing the top of the Bollinger Band? We had 1, 2, then we started having a pullback, and now again we're having 3 days candles out of the Bollinger Band. Usually when you hit the Bollinger Band, you could get a day or two on the daily time frame. You could get a day or two outside the Bollinger Band, and that could give you a point that you could get rejected or a reversal from. Let's look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is really pointing piano keys over here. That is showing me, this is on the daily, we might be pushing up strongly. I mean, look at the Bollinger Band is curving up as support, the lower part of the Bollinger Band, and literally we're holding this zone, we're building up. Are we going to have some accumulation, or is this a redistribution? As you see over here, piano keys, almost like here, and pumped up. Over here, it's this zone in the Dow Jones is much similar to this. Look at that, hugging the Bollinger Band. Then we have an insane pump, 1-2 days to the upside. We could have 1-2 days, hit the mid part of the Bollinger Band, another day attempt that and reverse down, and then continue out, forming a double bottom. That is very possible. The Dow Jones is in a double bottom formation. Essentially, you could call it the highs or the lows, but on the weekly, this is still the highs. So you are in the double bottom formation. You broke down from this support and you claimed it. You might come down, retest it. You need to hold the 30,707. That's for the Dow Jones. Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin. You see over here, the CME gap looks different. Let me see, am I having the values right? The lower part of the CME gap is at 27,360. All right, so I need to go over here and adjust this. It is 27,360. I mean the other chart. Let's see my box over here. Is it 27,360? 27,355. I need to bring it up. But as you can see, this daily candle didn't do what we did in the CME chart. It's a bit different. Yeah, so it's a bit different over here. Bitcoin and the CME futures don't behave the same, but it's giving me an indication of what may happen. Like if you look at the left over here, you could see the BTC USD at the moment is at 28,100. It's higher than the usual BTC USDT. And when I look at that, especially when I look at the CME chart and it has a price, I know that Bitcoin, so sometimes the CME chart leads Bitcoin, and I know that Bitcoin is going to move up now to 28,100 because the CME chart is slightly leading. It helps sometimes. Now looking at the volatility index, the VIX for the day pumped. We are struggling to get above this channel that we're in. So in my opinion, if the volatility index can get up here and starts ripping up, once it gets to the 30 level, 30 level, the 30s somewhere around here, at that point I expect Bitcoin to be at some low. I'm not saying the low or any low, it will be at a pullback. So as this moves up, I expect Bitcoin to pull back when we get to this zones. As you see over here, if you look at it, we were over here, we were in the VIX. It was at on the 28th of September 2022, and let's look at Bitcoin. What has Bitcoin done on 28th September 2022? You see that Bitcoin was at some low. 28th September 2022, we were here. Okay, so as the VIX was moving up, you see Bitcoin came down. This was an FOMC meeting candle, if I'm not mistaken. We came down. It's very funny. Look at this pattern. Chart patterns repeat. Look at this pattern. This goes up, comes down. It's in September. It started on the 9th, ended on the 13th. Now I'll take you to the El Salvador dump that I was talking about. 9th to 13th December. Didn't I say that? 9th to 13th. Now this pattern started over here on the 1st and went up here and ended on the 6th. So it's like in the same month, kind of a similar pattern, just a few days away. On the 1st, they're still, 8 days away. So patterns do repeat because some of these traders or institutions use algorithms. So you should expect patterns to show and repeat because in the end, it's a program, it's an algorithm. Now, Bollinger Bands on the hourly. I didn't even get to the TA. I've been extending it a bit. I need to get back to the TA. Now looking at this on the hourly, we have bounced off the value area high of this hourly range, which is bullish. As you see, we broke below. Some people thought this is going to be a continuation, and then we perfectly retested it, and now we're trying to make it up. We are struggling at the 50 EMA. On the 1 hour, we are above, but we're not getting that push, but we may. On the 15 minutes, what shows me that there is hope, I'll show you something. Yeah, look at that. On the 15 minute, we came down, we started stalling over here, pulled back down, and I'll take a trend-based fib. Let me see something. We came from here to this low, to this high. We came down close to the 1.618. Then we started forming a double bottom and we pumped over here from the low, from the high to the low to the high again. Again, close, we hit the 1.618, some sort of a double bottom, and we pumped. And we now came from the low, from the high to the low to this high again. We didn't get to the 1.618 again, but it doesn't have to. We did like what we did the first time. We exceeded the 1.698, and then we're forming some sort of a double bottom here. Again, close, we hit the 1.698, some sort of double bottom, and we pumped. And we now came from the low. And maybe we could go to the upside. Now we need to get that momentum pushing. It might happen within the next few minutes or hours. I'm not sure, but yeah. We are, you can mark out the zone. This is a CME gap zone. You can see the zones 27,360 and 28,745. These levels over here are extensions, fib extensions. So my next zones to the upside that I'm really watching if we break is 29,020 and 30,500 for possible reaction, rejection, or reclaim. So if we're able to reclaim it, then that would be a bullish thing for Bitcoin, and it will just show us that we might have some more upside. Now where are we in terms of the big move from down? I'll delete all of this, remove all drawings. Now from the bottom over here, we'll take it on the 4 hourly. Let's look at our targets. How far can we go? Let's look at that. From the low over here to this one, this was a wave 1 that ended here, pull back for a 2, and essentially we went up in a 3. That was a 3, it gave us a 4 and a 5, and that completed the third wave. It went very high, and then we came down for another 4 and a 5. We came down another 4 and a 5. Now we're saying this could be the end of this third leg up, and this was our wave 4. Our wave 4 came to the 0.618. That can't be a wave 4. That can tell me this move up from down here, this third leg, this is not the fourth wave for it. Possibly down here, still it's too big. If it's a 0.618, then it's possibly a wave 2. So we could be doing something like this. We came up and a 1, and now we're retracing for 2, and this is our third leg. That is a bullish count. And our third leg, now if you want to measure how far could we go, you want to see the hopium, the bullish target. I can show you what the charts are telling me. I'm not saying we're in a bull market, but I'm going to show you how far could we go. If this is a 1 and our 2 ended here, we could go to 29,500, 29,448, and 35,593. Those are both possible targets for Bitcoin. Now taking this smaller leg over here, assuming this is the beginning of something, this can go as high as, we have a 1 here, can't see where the 2 is, we had a small 1, 2 here. It's very hard to count. We haven't started so far. We only have, I believe we only have like 3, 1, 2 and 3, but this is curving out. I'm not liking this. You like to see this. Look over here, go impulse. Once you start curving out, you might be doing this, and then you're gonna bounce off again. So this essentially, I don't think so. It should retrace much from down here to the peak over here. Actually, this is a peak and this is a bottom. We retrace 0.382, so that's okay. So we had a 1, 2, possibly 3, 4 and a 5th in a wave 1. And the 5th hit the 0.620. That's perfect. It can go all the way to 30,674 to complete a wave 1 and then come 2, 3. That's a bullish count. I still believe we might make another low. I'm not sure if it's going to be a lower low or another low. Now let's look at indicators. RSI. The RSI indicator. This is a problem on the 4 hourly. You can see this. I believe it's clear. Everyone can see it. The trend line shows higher highs, and we've been forming lower highs. So that's not so good. That is bearish divergence. That shows a possible move to the downside. You can see here we're forming higher highs. Over here we're forming lower highs, and then we had the small pullback. Sometimes it can be a stronger pullback. Like over here you're forming higher highs, and here you were forming lower highs, and you had this dump. It is possible. All possibilities. Targets to the downside for support, in my opinion, 25k psychological zone is important. You could go down 27%. At this instance you did that, but there was an event probably over here, November, maybe FTX, I can't remember. All right, now targets to the downside. Let me try and bring back my chart, my lines. You have to have your levels and your lines. Now I need to go back before I deleted them. Bear with me for a second. Let's go back. Okay, now targets to the downside. Obviously we have the POC of this upper range that was from the 14th of March till today, the whole week, and this upper range POC would be at around 24,776. Say 24.8 is the target. Of course you have the psychological target of 25k. 26,200 comes first. 24.8 to 25k. Further down I have some targets I would like to share. Just pulling out a fib, and let's look how far we could go. So the RSI is showing some bearish dip on the 4-hourly. The 0.618 is at 23k, so you need to be aware of that. That is so far away. If this is going to be a simple retracement, shallow retracement, we could go just to the 25,100, 25,200. It's very possible. So those are my levels. You have your levels on the chart. Just looking left, you can see that this zone over here, significant support, resistance turned into support. So I'd put a line over here and keep it there. It's a 0.382. That's at around 25,200. Structural support on 4-hourly chart. You can see how strong is that level. So if we come down, this would be a level to bounce off, to catch a bounce, a scalp or swing trade or whatever. For now, very short term, Bitcoin needs to hold the 27,400 zone. As you see, we've been trying to hold it for the past 6-7 hours. This zone 27.4 is very important. The bottom of the CME range is becoming a range. The CME gap looks like a range at the moment. We haven't tested the highs, but the highs come there. Over here it's going to go crazy. You'll have some breakout traders that might put price higher, and we might get that pullback. It's a strong level of resistance. Why? I could see it in the chart. You can see that at this level, exactly at this level, the CME gap level, you can clearly see the 28.7. Where is that? Over here. We started selling off, and we had this at 27,360, somewhere around here. You can see we had support, and over here we had our resistance. So this box over here is very important. If we fail at this, look at the cascade. This is 4-hourly candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We kept tanking. We had a diamond, sort of a diamond pattern. People thought it's going to reverse. We continued. I mean, you need to be careful. Is 21k possible? As long as Bitcoin's above the 21,050 or 21,500, we could still be in a bull market. I mean, in the beginning of a bull market. But once we start losing 27.4, my eyes go to 26.2, then 25, 23.8, and so on. I'm going to be looking at my levels, but for now, those are the important ones. Now, I think I'm going to look at the DXY. The DXY has been tanking today. That is what's pushing markets. People are selling the DXY, possibly buying euro. The euro was going stronger because the ECB, European Central Bank, increased the interest rates by 50 basis points despite Credit Suisse and other banks going down. So yeah, look at the DXY. It failed to hold this zone, and if it fails holding this zone, it could come as low as a 102.5. Next zone is a 101 over here. Yeah, so that's a bit concerning for the DXY holders, people who are buying DXY. The dollar, who are trading the dollar, who are long on the dollar index, the DXY, that's a concern. Yeah, our next structural support, if we lose the 102.5 tonight, We're coming down to the 101 levels. We could easily do that. We failed, but it could be just in a pullback. See how it pumped up? Essentially, I would like, if I was trading the DXY, I would want it to come up, retest this zone, the 105, and go higher, retest this zone or this zone. Now we came up to the level which is resistance. Look at this over here, support over here, resistance over here, resistance over here. It's a very strong zone. So if the DXY starts reversing, it's going to be a problem for everything else. Now let's look at the Bollinger Bands. The problem with the DXY, now look at that, that's on the 4 hourly. Let's look at the daily. The daily just poked. It just poked, started poking the lower Bollinger Band, the lower level of the Bollinger Band, and the lower part is not looking too healthy. It doesn't look like support. It's literally vomiting over here. So the DXY could continue moving lower for the next few days, and that means Bitcoin could continue moving higher for the next few days into the Fed chair meeting. Now looking at other assets, if they're poking the Bollinger Bands in the upside, to the upside, to the downside, let's look at that. This is the Nasdaq. I hate when this happens. Okay, the Nasdaq is essentially getting rejected at the higher end of the Bollinger Band. We had one poke on the 16th of March, 17th, sort of an indecisive candle, bullish hammer today, and on the next candle is the 21st. Why is that? Let's go on the hourly. Let's go on the 4 hourly. The next candle shouldn't start now. This is on capital.com, so maybe the timings are different. Okay, so if the Nasdaq starts, we're vomiting to the upside, the Nasdaq can continue higher, but we have 3 days which failed to break and continue higher. What you like to see is a break and a continuation, but usually what happens when assets are at the top or the bottom of the Bollinger Band for a few days, we move to the other direction. So just be aware of that. We are double topping, but we invalidated it by coming up higher. We are having a double bottom. This looks like a bull flag, which could be very bullish. Next structural resistance of significance would be this zone, the $13,000 zone for the Nasdaq. Solana is one of my favorites. I love Solana. Let's go Solana USD. Solana USD just getting rejected today in the upper part of the Bollinger Band. I would like to look at another chart where I have my on a smaller time frame, switch off my Bollinger Bands. Let's look at this indicator. This is on the hourly, not looking too healthy for Solana. The 5 and 13 have crossed down. That is telling you momentum is shifting, and if you look at them, they're still okay. They're flattening out. We might have a chance to recover. Sometimes we do, but it's not that good. On the 15-minute, we came up to the 50, and we're getting rejected slightly. We're not seeing a big wick or big rejection. And that gives you a strong signal for a sell when you see that. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just see this and a continuation down. But we are holding this zone. $20 zone is very important for Solana. Where's the $20? You need to hold this, in my opinion. Solana, the zone of resistance, support over here, 20.5 is very important. We've been holding the 21 very nicely. We have this resistance at around 25.7. As long as we're below the 25, we cannot see the 26 or 27 or 28 targets that I have. We need to hold above the 25. We've been failing constantly at the 25 zone on Solana. You can see over here, and over here again. We came all the way up to 27, and we keep failing at it. Now this is a huge double top, failed by this push up, and we could see a continuation to the upside. It's very possible. Nothing is impossible in these markets. But what you could see Solana do that could tell you that Solana is going to go higher. For starters, you need to reclaim the value area high, $23. If you can't reclaim the value area high, then that's gonna be bad for Solana. You need to claim the value area high. Do something like this. Come up here, maybe form some sort of a cup, curl down, and you get that pivot out. Then you want to see it do this back test and maybe range a bit here, maybe fool people, come down, liquidity grab, and continue higher. That's what you want to see. You want Solana to start reclaiming the $23 and make its way above this zone, 24.6, and start reclaiming the $27. 18,383 for Solana at the downside is a level of support down below here. 18,343. Ethereum could see $2,000 if Bitcoin gives it the chance. Bitcoin needs to start moving for everything else to start moving. Ethereum was moving much better than Bitcoin from the get-go. We didn't make a new lower low from our June lows. So if we look at Ethereum and get so bullish, said we had this whole move up was a one wave, and this move down over here was our 2, our 3 can get us all the way to 2226 or 2939. This is very bullish, but we don't have to do it. Just remember, we are at a zone where we sold off from before. So for me, if I was looking at this, look left, I am at previous resistance, strong resistance over here, and I had broken down, back tested it over here, and I'm going down. That is bad. Looking left, structural support for Ethereum is at 1658 at the moment. That's the next zone, 1658. Yeah, so if you can't hold that, that's very bad. So yeah, this would be a zone to go short if I was to trade it. Now let's look at Ethereum RSI. Any divergences? Ethereum has been moving higher highs till here, and we formed lower highs, bearish divergence coming down. On the hourly, anything different? On the hourly, lower highs, higher highs, bearish divergence, we're coming down. And are we forming any bullish divergence that could reverse us in the short term? Let's see our RSI, higher lows, nothing's reversing over here. Even smaller time frames, let's go to the 30 minutes, trying to find some bullishness over here. We had a low over here, candle close, and here's a lower low, and we had a low over here, and we are having a higher low. That is your 15 minute bullish divergence. So you might see a move up. The 15 minutes can bring us up to this zone again. We need to reclaim the 1789 for Ethereum. Reclaim it, get support above it. Then we need to reclaim the 1840. See a strong sell-off at the 1840. And if I look left, I'm sure it's a zone that we sold off from before. 1840. We have this structural support. In my opinion, for the next days, the market may hold, or we might see a slight pullback. Just awaiting for the Fed announcement, then maybe the markets will get so bullish and start pumping again, or get wrecked and ripped to the downside. Going back to Mr. BTC, Bitcoin, on the 4-hourly. Let's see. I'm liking this. This week was a difficult week to trade for many. A lot of shorts got wrecked. You're talking hundreds of millions. Let's look at Bitcoin liquidations. Today, Bitcoin liquidations. Today. Total liquidations. CoinGlass. Let's look at that. How many liquidations did we have? Symbol liquidation. BTC, we had 6.34 million. I'm not sure if that's just today or just the past hour. So many liquidations on Binance. Top. Binance is at the top of the list. Liquidation 7.87. 7 million liquidated. 4.9. 5 million longs. 2.9 shorts. So majority longs are getting liquidated on Binance, on OKX, Bybit long, short liquidated majority in Huobi. So yeah, longs are getting mostly liquidated at the moment. People trying to go long this last 4 hours. Let's look at the last 24 hours. 164 million on Binance. Mostly longs got liquidated. I think these are late longs. You had a total of 158 million longs liquidated. Total liquidations. Majority longs. Yeah, so it's not looking too good. Bitcoin is acting crazy. If you are watching the stream and you're interested in seeing some TA on any coin, you may let me know and I'll do it for you with pleasure. I don't mind. I'm just looking at Mr. BTC and how it's going to react. I'm expecting one of two things, either a hard rejection or BTC is going to rip crazy and get people super bullish, then rip down. On the 15 minutes, we're still struggling at this zone. We are forming some sort of a triangle. Triangles are corrective patterns. We could do something like this. This is on the 15 minutes, so mind you, it doesn't have to play out. We could have an A down here, B, now we're having our C, D, and then E, and we have our breakout. But this can't be, the B went above the A. That could be an expanded, some sort of an expanded flat. I'm not an Elliottician, so don't take my Elliott analysis too seriously. It's just helping me navigate. Hey Marcus, welcome back, man. All right, I'll check AXS. Let's look at AXS, please. AXS USDT. AXS USD. That's how I'm on the wrong, sorry. AXS USD. Binance, Coinbase. Let's look at AXS on Coinbase. All right, AXS on the hourly. AXS has broken down below the 50 EMA. You got the signal for a short, possibly here. You could have entered a short, and we're going down. And it is on the hourly it formed an obscure head and shoulders. If you can see what I see now. For someone who's trading this, what you'd be looking for is not FOMOing now. We are struggling at the 5 EMA, but the 5 EMA slowly may creep up and we start seeing this. A lot of times we see this and you see the candles start slowly opening above the 5 EMA and we see this start to move up, and then you see that and you get the crossover. Eventually the 50 will be here and you get the crossover. That may happen, but that's what you're looking for bullish trade. But if you start coming up to the 50 and you get rejection, that's very bad. Now Essentially, it's not looking too bad. I'll tell you why. Now, I can see what's happening here with AXS. It's, why am I doing it this way? Let's do it this way. Okay, AXS, the beginning of the week broke out of this range. You can see over here we have the psychological low, and our psychological high is over here. It's along with the last week's high, so you can't see the word psychological high. This is your range. This is your high, 9.84 for the week, and this is 8.69. So essentially that is your trading range for the week. It's been based. Now what is good about AXS, what could give you a bit of hope, is that we came down here, formed a stopping volume candle at the low. You had a breakdown, immediate buy up. But if you don't get that continuation, now you see you're starting to come down. If in the next few hours you remain over here, there is a high likelihood that the AXS can break the psychological low. We have lost the M3 pivot point, M2. Your next zone could be the M0. You could go all the way to 7.9. Now before you get to the 7.9, and before I just start throwing bearish targets, I'm going to give you some fib retracements to watch for. If you're going to trade this, if you're looking for a long entry, essentially for starters, you are at structural support over here. This is on the hourly. You have structural support, which is resistance, which is what caused you to bounce over here. Now coming down here, you had a double bottom. That is a bullish pattern. You had a pump and another pump, retrace. You formed a peak, you came down, and now you formed another running pattern which recovered this, and now you're having another pump. But you are also forming something I don't like to see if I was bullish on this. Some sort of head and shoulders. Ugly, but yeah, triple top or head and shoulders is all the same. What if you are starting to pull down on AXS? For starters, I would pull a Fibonacci retracement for this range and see where AXS has to hold from this low, the last swing low, to the high. We're holding the 0.618. Look at that, it's like magic. Now I'm going to also go on the daily time frame and see where are we in AXS. Now you can see this entire down movement is a range. You could include the whole thing, and you could look at your zone, your volume. You are struggling at the point of control. Look at that. This is your point of control. Look at how you kissed it and you came down. Now let's try pulling it for this smaller range over here, so we have a different perspective. It's also below the point of control. You're still struggling at the same POC for this entire range. So this is not good. For starters, AXS has to reclaim this. The 9.19, I'll keep it in red because at the moment it's resistance, and then you want to see it to come up here, but as 14.13. But as long as you're below the POC, you may come over here to the 6.51. We don't have to get there. Remember, I showed you the other zones, the $7 range. We could get there. We have the M0 at the $7 range. We have the M0 over here, 7.88, very strong support. Look at that. So even if you come down to the to this zone, that is not a bad buy zone for AXS, because you had a long consolidation. A buy zone if someone's a holder at DCA in. If you're going to come down to your lows, then that's a zone you should maybe buy in. It depends on your strategy. But targets to the upside for AXS, if we are able to reclaim breakout of this with Bitcoin breaking out, breakout of the 9.84, then we go to the daily time frame and we switch off this indicator and we look at our next structural resistance. It will be right over here, 10.68. Previous support, turn to resistance over there, 10.6. That's your next resistance. RSI. Is RSI overbought, oversold? RSI was oversold over here. This is on the daily time frame, and we got a pump. Now RSI could continue coming up if it wants to. That means we're not yet oversold. That's what I'm telling you. On the higher time frame, we're not oversold. On the higher time frame, I don't have any bearish diff at the moment, but if I go to the lower time frame, the 4 hourly, we were oversold on the 18th, and we made a lower low on RSI, higher low on price action, bearish divergence brought us down to where we were. We were at 9.7 and we came down to 8.57. Now this could still break down. You are double topping on RSI. You have more room to the downside, but let's look at smaller time frames. Do we have anything to look at? RSI, nothing much. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the principle of recovering liquidity. We have more zones to recover up here. There's a good chance it might go up, but we still have that wick down here. A wick is just liquidity, and you can see the zone is highlighted. That could take us down to this zone, or even this zone over here, last week's low, or even lower, 6.9. So as long as you're below the $9.20, you should expect slightly lower. I want to look at other indicators. I mean, it's not all. Let's look at the ECLA, smoothest stochastic RSI, and see. We are at the highs on the daily. If the ECLA starts forming a double top like this, and red dot starts printing like you see over here, sometimes one dot, sometimes you get two dots, you will get a down move. You could get a down move. Look at that over here, 2 red dots. You're forming higher highs over here, lower highs over here. There were 2 red dots and you came down. Over here, a green dot and another green dot. It wasn't perfect. Let's look somewhere else. Over here it was so nice. Green dot, another green dot, and you pumped up. So this right here is showing me that we are in overbought region, but we could continue pumping even if we're in overbought. Look at that, we went overbought, we're ranging here, and we came here, we came down, resetted. So it is possible that you are in overbought. On the 1 hourly, you are forming a green dot, no double bottom. 4 hourly, you are possibly forming a double bottom over here, but you're cross to the downside. What you need to see over here on this indicator is a cross. The green crosses the red, and possibly a pump up, and possibly a green dot here. Yeah, other than that, there's another useful tool I like using. I'll take this off. EMA prediction tool, and I want to see where my 50 would be. Okay, that's my 50 EMA. This is where my 50 EMA can continue going on the 4 hourly. That's what it's telling me. Short term, we can smooth over here. Daily, okay, so on the 1 hourly, I'll mark this out, and you can see we'll mark the 50 over here. It could range here. That's a predicting tool if price just continues ranging over here. Now if I take the 5 EMA You can see the 5 EMA on the 1 hour. This is on the 15-minute. That is a prediction for the 5 EMA. And I was looking at the 15 minutes when I was projecting where the crossover may happen. Your 50 EMA would be here. They could meet tomorrow night as this is projecting, and your 13 EMA would be slightly low, I believe. Where's the 13? Yeah, the 13 EMA is gonna cross the 5 pretty soon. Your 50 EMA would be here. Tomorrow night this is projecting, and the 13 EMA would be slightly low, I believe. Where's the 13? Yeah, the 13 EMA. Yeah, so I need to get rid of this one. So look at that. Your 13 EMA is coming in here. It would be crossing the 5 quite soon, and then they'll both be coming and meeting the 50. Then you might get your pump up. It doesn't have to be in the same time frame, but this is a predictive tool telling me that there is a possibility for a move up as per the EMA prediction tool. A coin that was doing crazy moves and I tried shorting it but failed was OMG. It was really crazy the past few days. It had an insane pump. I think it was leading the rest. If you can see yesterday's pump, imagine this, holding this coin. We had a 64% pump almost in one day. That's crazy. I mean, these altcoins are crazy. They're fun. If you're a holder, it's fun. Yeah. All right. What else? OMG. Yeah, OMG. And let's look at where OMG is. I'm gonna pull from here to here. We're above the value area high. We are coming to retest it. So if you're a holder of OMG, this is a good zone to see a bounce, if it will bounce or no, at $2.02. You're welcome, man. Hope you and your family are doing fine. Enjoy your holiday. I believe you're on holiday, if I'm not mistaken. You told me you are on holiday. And I think you said you're in Australia. Hope you enjoy it, man. Okay, yeah, this was a crazy pump. And in terms of EMAs, so the $2.02 is very important. That will, any confluence on the daily, no, on the 4 hourly, $2.02 is right over here. Yeah, you have some structural support here, very weak, but if we go left, it is significant. You can see we had a rejection once. So $2.20 is a zone of support and resistance for OMG. Quant is another interesting coin. I mean, Quant. So these are my zones for Quant. I haven't looked at Quant for a while, but it's done beautiful. I mean, I had this channel, it broke up. Let's see if we retested it. Almost a perfect retest. Bounced up, we're failing, we're double topping. Oh man, I don't like that. Till May. Wow, that's a long holiday, man. Enjoy it, enjoy the Aussie hospitality. Very friendly people, very friendly. So this move down could have been an ending diagonal or a leading diagonal. I mean, look at that. You had one touch here, second touch was here or here, and then you had a third, fourth, fifth. You usually like to see 5 touches, then a breakdown or a breakup. We had 5 touches and we continued higher. We broke up. So essentially, we wouldn't want to lose on the day. We wouldn't want to lose a 125. We really need to hold the structural support over here for Quant 128. If we can hold this zone 128 up to the 125, it's good and healthy. We could go above the 130. If you have been following me for a while, you know I have this zone for a while, 131, especially these zones, the 147 and 152. These are very old zone. Now I would like to look at quant. Where are we in the sense of our fixed range volume profile to see? We are struggling at the value area high. This would have been a nice short entry for me if I was trading it. But I don't like, or I advise not to short into strength. We are showing strength in the market. Even though you see these big red candles pull back, we are showing strength. This isn't a bullish setup for Litecoin. 85 is very important. You get to 85, you'll see 95. You need to get to 85 and hold. You see here, this is what you do. You start flagging out. You notice the candles kind of accumulating, piano keys. You break below, but you're not failing totally. You break below, scare everyone out, immediately recover it in a few hours or days. Then you come here and you go up to the 95. If you get to the 95, then you have higher targets. I have the 97 and 99 zone as zones of interest. Bitcoin is not giving me that deep retracement that I like to see. Yeah. Hey guys, I'll be right back. Excuse me for a second because I'll just go get a glass of water. Just give me a second. Hey guys, I'll be right back. Excuse me for a second because I just get a glass of water. Just give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, so I mean, we are generally kind of bullish in the market. Things are looking great, but we are stalling. This is a concern. As I said in the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you were here in the stream, I was saying that we are in the zone of the CME gap. The zone of the CME gap, why is it concerning? Because that is where we sold off from the last time. So as long as we are in that zone and we're not moving out of it, as Bitcoin is not showing me enough strength, we need to move above the 28,760 and hold. And I don't want to see a freak candle because freak candles are quickly recovered. You want to see Bitcoin get up there and start holding up there. You don't want to have one candle that goes something like that all the way. Then you know definitely that's a liquidity run and we're not going to hold. You want to see it to get above here. We have another zone at 29,020, but you want to see it come up here, hold, or even if it moves higher, you want to see a retrace, hold, a retest, confirming the support. Hey guys, if you are there in the stream, smash the likes. It helps the channel tremendously, getting the videos out there and yeah, spreading the word. Now you want to see it retrace, test previous resistance over here as support and continue higher. Then you'll come to the 30,500 where you may stall. That is if we're going up. I'm not saying we're going up. You may even fail slightly and then you come for a break, retest, and that's how you make yourself your way up in a healthy market. But sudden moves like the OMG move or these daily candles, I don't really like them. I don't like them that much because it's telling me something might be happening, and the dollar looks like it may start reversing to the upside. Let's look. Oh man, the dollar is taking a dump. This chart, oh look at that, that's a daily candle. Look at that daily candle. On the 4-hourly, small green candle trying to recover. On the 1-hourly, we're holding. And 15 minutes, nothing bullish on the dollar. Let's look at the we're below the EMAs, so even on the 15 minute, if the dollar wants to come up, it might find resistance over here. So that's very bad. Bollinger Bands, even on the 15 minute, it's slightly curving up, small support, but nothing impressive for the dollar. Wow. But if the Fed comes out next week and increases interest rates, that's going to be bullish for the dollar. It's going to pump the dollar and maybe dump the market. Now Bitcoin is trying to make this move up. Now we have the Sydney market open already. Tokyo will be coming in an hour and a half. We're going to have Tokyo market followed by Hong Kong. But at the moment, we have Bitcoin moving up. So let's see what's going to happen. Ethereum, the Solana, Litecoin. I'm going to look at Maker coin. Maker had a big dump the other day. I wish I stayed in my trade. I remember Maker at 900 plus. I got out of the trade while Maker was here. See, I had this zone 963. That was almost a week ago. It was such a good zone to short. Look at that. If you had this, if you just shorted 963 on the rejection of the zone, all the way down, that's 31%. If you had 30x leverage, that could be 900% profit. 900% profit. That's 9x your money. That's crazy. And it was almost a guaranteed trade, as you failed here so many times. Look at that. Once, twice, 3, 4. All the way down. Simple trading strategies include volume profile trading. Look at that. If you're trading this, look at this. This is the value area high of this entire range. Look at that. Value area high, rejection. Value area low, support. Deviation, acceptance, retest, continuation. And at the moment you are below the POC, you are at the lows. I'm very tempted to trade it if it can give me another test of this, the $700 at the POC, and trade it to the 607. How much of a percent is that? 13%. But that, I don't know if that will happen. It depends if Bitcoin's going to try to attempt its lows. That's maybe like Bitcoin at 17.5 or at 19k. January levels. Where was Bitcoin in January? Bitcoin January levels. January levels, Bitcoin was at 17k. Yeah. So if Bitcoin is going to go down 70k, a lot of these coins are going to tank even further. You know why? Because a lot of these coins are at support. What does that mean? Bitcoin has moved out of support, and today these altcoins, most of them sold off. Look at the red. While Bitcoin did not sell off as much, these altcoins are going crazy to the downside. Look at that. So if Bitcoin starts selling off, there's a chance these altcoins will make new lows, lower lows. So that's a risk with these altcoins. We have, for me, looking at Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can come to the 27,400 bullish retest it, that's a possible long for me. 27,400. That will be the value area high of this range. Beautiful retest. I will have the 5 EMA there on the daily, on the 4 hourly. You see how we retested it here. 1, 2, 27. This is 27,156. 27.4 is the bottom of that CME range. So it's 27,156, or yeah, 156, 27,150 is a zone of importance for me. I'll see if we can come and hold this high, 27.4 or 27,150. Retest it nicely and push up, then yeah, Bitcoin has a chance. But once we lose the 27.4, you will be coming to next structural support over here, 26.8 down to 24.8. That's your zone. So you need to be careful with Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Alright guys, I had some levels I wanted to watch before I get off the stream. This is on the 1 hour time frame. This was a trend. We broke down, but we're continuing high. I'll take this line off. By the way, on the daily time frame, we are above the 800 EMA. This purple line, it's 800 EMA. That's bullish. If we can hold it, then we will continue higher. Over here, we are above this trend line that is taken from these 2 wicks over here. I was expecting it either to move up over here at this level in December 2022 or break down and a bear flag, but we did not move up. We broke down and continued higher, and now we have support above it. You can see how clearly it's respecting the line. 1, 2, 3 days. This is the 3rd day we haven't touched it, so it's highly possible. Now we go over here. We go over here on this chart. I wanted to mark out some levels, something to keep on your radar so you're aware of what's happening and able to take better decisions in your trades. Now on this time frame, we have, I'll take it from this here. We have broken this trend, and I'm going to take another line. This is going to be your big support line. If you get there, that will be like, I mean, you can't, this is too far away. I don't like it. I'm going to take it off the chart. So I have that support line for the entire move, and then I have this support trend line for this range over here. So for now, if I come here and get rejected, I would expect to come here and retest this 27,118 at the moment. I mean, in the next 4 hourly candles, in the next 8 hours or so. So if we can hold this, then this is good. But if you can't hold it and you start breaking down 27.1, obviously if it goes up, it goes higher. So if you start breaking 27.1, that's bad for you, very bad. Anyways, let's look at the liquidations the last hour. Majority of longs been liquidated. 971,000 longs, 971,000 US dollars worth of longs in the last hour. Crazy. Bitcoin is getting a slight rejection now on the 15-minute time frame. And if we go to smaller time frames, if you're looking for entries, then you're looking at this, the 1 minute or the 5 minute, and you're just tuning into smaller time frames. Some people even look at the 30-second chart or even the 1 second chart. We have them here. No, we don't, but you have, yeah, there you go. 1, 5, 10, 15, 30 seconds. Slight rejection at this level, nothing big. We just recovered this big red candle on the 1 minute. Yeah, that's my market update. Hope you liked it. If you did, please smash the likes, and just be careful trading. The DXY is looking like it's trying to make a reversal on the 1 minute, very weak 1 minute candles. Let me go to the 5 minutes. Yeah, it's wicking the lows, telling you that it might move up. But if you want to look at it objectively, it does look like a pole, and maybe a flag will form to break again. I had higher targets for the DXY, 106 and 109, and I had the 111, which we hit, and my next target I believe was 118 if I have it on another chart. It seems it's not marked out, but yeah, it was just measuring bull flag breakout, bull flag breakout. The Nasdaq and the Dow Jones are trying to remain green for the day. The ES mini futures is holding that trend line that it had from the all-time highs. As long as we're holding this trend line, the trend is changing. But once we get to it, we're confirming. Once we get below it, we're confirming a further downtrend. I always watch the ES mini, the DXY, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones. Yeah. Alright guys, I'll get off the stream for a while. I might get up. No, actually I think I'm gonna get off. Hope you like the stream. Subscribe to the channel, join the free Discord, and if you really like the channel, then there's a link in the channel description that says like the stream, or want to support the channel, buy me a coffee. You could go there and support the channel with any amount that you wish. More trades, I'm out.